Okay, take two. Like I said in my introductory video, I try to do these things once through and then upload it and see how it goes. And notice that the last video I made was a little bit dark, didn't have as much good sound, so I'm altering things a little bit to hopefully better present rehash of the last video. Actually, going to include a few more watches in this video to sort of give a little time span of sort of the history of watches through 5 watches that I own and have. And I've collected others, of course, but these are sort of interesting sort of watches that I think represent different periods of time. Well, we're going to start with the present, which is Movement. Now, this is a watch company that a lot of watch enthusiasts like to dislike, mostly because of the fact that people think that there is not as much of a good value to this due to the fact that the materials aren't as good, et cetera, et cetera. And the if you take a look at this watch I have here, it's it's fairly hefty in weight. I mean, it's not horrible, but I think really what it is the price point. But what's interesting about Movement is that from 2013 to 2020, and that's when they started, it was 2013, they have really exploded as a company. I mean, they were sold to Movado just a few years ago for $100 million. And that's just incredible. And this was all through aggressive social media advertising. And that's really actually, this watch itself doesn't really represent much value in terms of sort of a collector's item, but it definitely represents a success story in our modern day using social media and really how our society has gone from sort of the landline telephones to and rotary dial to iPhones and everything. So and wireless, wireless cell phones, which obviously everyone has these days. So the bottom line is that this represents 2020 really, or the modern day, and this watch itself. So I actually think I got it for good value, only because of the fact that I bought this on eBay in about $20 on eBay, and then also I ended up spending about $11 and change for the Movement itself, because the Movement was broken in this Movement. And actually, it's not horrible. I mean, for under $40, I mean, it's actually a pretty nice watch. I kind of like it. I mean, it's got pretty good weight to it. I kind of like a weighty watch. I mean, got some heft to it. Material itself isn't the greatest, but I mean, it's working. And basically, the one key thing here, of course, is you need to know how about working watches, and so obviously the swap out of the Movement myself, where else obviously asking someone to do that for you would have cost a lot more money, and probably not made it worthwhile. But for under $40, basically, yeah, there's scratches on it and stuff like that. But if you wear a watch every day, that's going to happen. And the mineral crystal isn't all that great, but that really kind of represents today, our modern day. This is how this company just was incredibly successful because of the way it advertised. And in fact, actually, that's the reason why a lot of watch enthusiasts criticize this watch company. And what they think they overcharge, and I'm not going to debate that, good or bad. I'm certainly not going to compare this to a Rolex. They're really two different category of watches. However, now what I will show again is the Elgin Pocket watch that I showed in the previous video. Again, a beautiful watch. It's screw the back off here and see if I can get a good shot of the Movement on side. So clearly very different. Not balance wheel, handspring. I mean, completely elegant pocket watch. This one has an engraving on it that actually shows that it was given to father from sons, December 25th, 1912. I usually don't like to buy watches with engraving on it, but this one actually seemed kind of special. I mean, it was a joyous occasion, obviously given with love, and so in a way, this watch really represents something very nice, actually, in my mind. And you screw this backing back on. Easier said than done, I guess. There we go. Once you find the threads. And then it's like a typical quartz watch. If you pull it out to set the hands, and it's already set right now, so all you got to do is wind it like a mechanical wound watch. Now, during this era, railroads, of course, were a main way of traveling. And to a certain extent, we still have railroads, right? Of course, there are like the subways in New York City and stuff like that. That's essentially an underground railroad. But anyways, you have to have good, accurate timekeeping because, from switching tracks and stuff like that, what you didn't want was accidentally, so like this watch, you can actually pull a crown out and reset the watch. And of course, that could lead to a disaster where timing for these trains are very important from switching track to track. And so this is not a railroad certified watch. I mean, different companies like Ball Watch Company had a certification that they had to be exactly and very accurate, so that different train engineers would be able to run things on time and be on time, so that there wouldn't be a catastrophe collision. So this crown doesn't pull out. This just lines the watch, the mainspring of the watch. And again, here we go. I could take the back off of this as well, but it's kind of pretty much the same as that. And to set this watch, you actually have to take the top off there, and now you can set it. See, and then you put the lever back in. And you see where the lever action is, and then once the lever action is here, and you can wind it like that, and then there you go. So this prevented accidental resetting of watches or moving of the watch setting. And so obviously it eventually a design that was necessitated for the time. And then of course the crystal, you go ahead and put it back on. And again, easier said than done. Got to find the threads. And there we go. All right. And as time went on, of course, so we got these watches over here, so I'll just kind of put it in the background. Then came the mechanical wristwatch. Okay, so moving a little bit forward in time, but Timex, this is actually a Timex Marlin reissue. Timex just recently came out with the Timex Marlin, and this is a beautiful wristwatch. You can buy it on the website right now. And this is a mechanical watch. You pull it out to set the watch like you would expect, and then you push the crown in, and there you go. You wind it. And this is, the standard watch that most people wore on their wrist for many years, until, of course, quartz watches came into being. And, of course, one of the recent, this is also a reissue from Timex Q. And there's been a lot of reviews online you probably can find as well of the Timex Q. And this one is a quartz watch. And this was, I think, released back in the 70s or thereabouts. And basically, this is the beginning of the quartz era. And of course, any quartz watch, even $20 quartz watch, is probably going to be more accurate than some of your more expensive automatics if they're not set properly. But the bottom line is that this was the onset of sort of modern watches that eventually led to things like movement watches. As you can see, the sort of typical ticking motion of quartz versus, as you can see, the sweeping motion of a mechanical watch. And here you see with the second hands here, it's kind of more of a typical sweeping. And of course, the only thing I left out here is automatic watches. I do have some automatics as well. Anyways, I just want to redo the video that I did before and add a few more watches to try to see if I could play around with the lighting a little bit better and get the sound a little bit better. But anyways, here's really, my goodness, watch from 1912 all the way up until, this year. So anyways, hope everyone stays safe, and thank you for visiting. Bye.